Welcome back. It's Youth Day, and who better to inspire us than a young go-getter? Francis Mayebe is a candidate attorney at Baker McKenzie. He says young people have the power to change society and the world for the better. He joins us now via Zoom. Francis, good morning, and thank you very much for your time. Now, you're a candidate attorney, but today it's not your legal expertise that have brought you here. You are, in fact, here because of a refreshing article that you wrote imploring young people to take up their rightful place in society and make something of themselves. But before we get to that particular article, let's start with your journey as an academic, an entrepreneur, and even a cricketer.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Fundo. My name is Francis Mayebe. A candidate attorney at Baker McKenzie, and also a Mandela Rhodes Scholar. So basically, I started off my career as a cricketer as a young boy. When I grew up, I always wanted to play cricket, but soon after high school, I found a passion for law. Thereafter, I enrolled for my LLB degree at the University of the Free State, where I graduated summa cum laude with 46 distinctions, which was a very great achievement for myself, particularly for my parents, for the inspiration they always gave me towards my academics. Soon after that, I then moved on to the University of Cape Town to commence with my master's in commerce, specializing in international tax, where I'm currently finalizing my dissertation and hopefully graduating with that in the next in the upcoming year.
Honestly impressive, Francis. But where did you find the inspiration? Because your peers, I'm sure, as you can see, are very dejected at this point. They're demoralized. They're feeling that government has not created an enabling environment for them to thrive. But here you are. Against everything that is happening, you have somehow managed to forge ahead. Just talk to me about where you draw strength.
No, absolutely. I think what really inspired me as I was growing up was a lot of reading, through a lot of academic reading, a lot of reading of biographies of persons like Nelson Mandela, who was a great inspiration for me, persons like Martin Luther King, who at a very young age, they saw, at a very young age, at a state of their countries where things were not going so well and the opportunities were not so visible for them, but they actually took up some sort of inspiration to be different, to find some sort of strength in making a contribution and to making some sort of difference in their lives and in their societies and the communities around them. And for me personally, when we talk about making a difference and making a contribution, what inspires me is not making the most biggest significant contribution in the world, because that's a very difficult task to make, especially at the stage of my life. But whatever contribution I can make in my community, like for example, with starting Africa Sports Consultancy with my colleagues, where we saw an opportunity to actually empower athletes on financial literacy, legal literacy as well, and to actually help them plan for life after sports. So those are the type of the things that really inspired me and that really gave me that motivation to see that I can make something happen in my own context, in my own society, and in my own self. I can take something out of myself and make that contribution, not only to me, but to the society around me.
I suppose this touches with or ties in nicely with your article. You say the significance of Youth Day is a day perhaps to reflect on how much of a role young people of today can play or have played in changing communities in comparison to the class of '76, which is something completely different. It's a different perspective, where here we're looking at the youth, looking to reflect on how much government has been able to do to change their lives. But you're saying also, this must be a moment to reflect on how young people themselves have shaped their own communities. Talk to me about this.
Yes. No, absolutely. As I said earlier, when we look about making the world a better place or making a significant contribution to the world, sometimes we tend to be drawn away to what can government do, or to what can we do to make a big movement that's going to stop the whole country, or that's going to move the whole country forward. And we tend to neglect the little things in our community and in our society. As a young candidate attorney, I have that responsibility to ensure, as a constitutional agent, that I stand up for people's rights. For example, if someone has their rights getting infringed, if I see there is some sort of laws that are not inconsistent with the Constitution, it's my contribution that I can make in writing an article, an academic journal about it, and testing, the constitutional validity of that law. When we started Ubuntu, which is another company that I started with my friends, it started off during COVID-19, where we saw an opportunity with respect to artists. There was a lot of artists out there that didn't have a market and that could not promote their art into the global market, for example, in Europe or in America. So we saw an opportunity to actually assist them and help them and create a platform for them to actually sell their art and to be able to make a living. So when I'm talking about contribution and meaningful contribution, I'm looking at it in that context. You have to start somewhere. And wherever you start, however small it is in a community and in a society, then you can move on from there. I believe as youth, we cannot stand today and make the biggest difference in this world, but we can start small in our environment, in our communities, going all the way to our families by educating our younger brothers, our younger sisters, our little cousins, and inspiring them, and through our actions and through our words, for them to actually move forward in their lives and make their lives much better for them. And by the way when we do that, we actually extend it further on in terms of generations and family and all that.
What a refreshing perspective. Don't seek to change the world. Just change your immediate environment.